Hi everyone, Marianne Cowan here from Pinery Paper Crafts, and today I'm going to show you a really cute stamp set that allows you to make 5 different occasion cards. And here's a sample that I'll show you in a minute. And the stamp set is called Hoot Hoot Hooray. And as you can see, it's got baby, you made my day, always here for you, Hoot Hoot Hooray, and happy birthday. And some of them you can change up, like Hoot Hoot Hooray, you could just cover up the saying and it would be a cute little Halloween card. So I think that little guy is really cute. And this stamp set is found in the brochure called Experience Creativity. And this brochure was designed for beginner stampers. Sometimes if you're just new to stamping and you look in the annual catalog, it's a little overwhelming. So they came up with this brochure to help people get started and choose some items that are quick and easy. But even as an experienced stamper, I find these sets really, really nice. Here's one to go with the Magnolia Lane stamp set, and I really like the font of that, happy birthday, thank you, and sayings that we use quite often. This is a really cute one, Celebrate with Cake, and here's some sample cards that you can make with just a few products. Very simple stamping. This is all one layer stamping, just ink on paper. And here's the one we're going to be using today called Hoot Hoot Hooray. It retails for $29 in Canada, and as I said, you get this beautiful set that you can make all these different stamps for, all these different cards for. So let's get busy and show you what we're going to make today. So the cards that we are making use the Designer Series, Bright's Designer Series 6x6 paper. And as you know, our colors are divided into 4 areas, so there's 10 bright colors. And I like all the collections, but the Brights I think is my favorite. And just so you know, there's 10 different colors, and for each color you would get these designs. The diamond, gingham, love gingham, this beautiful little script, and then this kind of little mosaic tile one. So those are the 4 different ones you would get in each of the color families, and you get several of each. So let's take a look at the cards that I made already. This one is Hoot Hoot Hooray, and this is using the color Mango Melody. It's a beautiful color. This one is Flirty Flamingo. It says you made my day with a little flower. This one I colored with blends. This one I did watercoloring, which I'm going to show you a little trick. This one, cute little cloud, always here for you. We're going to do this one today, so I can just show you a simple watercoloring technique. Happy birthday, I used some little rhinestones from one of the sets of rhinestones, just tiny little ones. Happy birthday. And welcome little baby, welcome little one. And again, I just used some gems, and I used one of the enamel hearts, which I'm going to show you how we can color those to make them match any card that you're using. So those are the cards that I made, and then when we're going to make today, we're going to be using the Granny Apple Green. And I forgot to tell you all the other colors, but we'll just go ahead. So let's start by stamping our image. This is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 Whisper White, and I'm going to use Memento ink and just stamp my image right in the middle. And then I'm going to add a little bit of watercolor around. I'm not going to color the cloud because I want the cloud to stay white, so I'm going to do a little bit of sky around the cloud, and I'll show you how I'm going to do that. So what I like to do, some people like to put ink in the inside lid, but I find it gets your stamp pads a little bit messy, so I prefer to take a block and then just dab my ink pad dab my block in the ink pad and just pick up a little bit of the ink, and now I have a little watercolor palette. So for the blue, now I haven't used watercolor paper because I'm just really doing a really light wash, but there are some, if you want to use watercolor paper you can. I just was using the regular Whisper White. So you take your pen, your watercolor pen. Mine doesn't seem to have a lot of water in it, but I think it'll be okay. And you just make a little bit of a watercolor. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around the cloud. I really want it quite faint. That's perfect. And with watercoloring, you don't have to be exact. That's what's fun about watercoloring. Just be careful because the ink might still be a little bit wet. And again, you just want to go a little bit around the outside and a little bit around the hearts, just to make it look a little bit like the sky. And then afterwards you can go ahead and dry it with your heat gun. I didn't find it was necessary because I'm really just putting a tiny little bit on. There we go, just for a little bit of effect. Now because I'm not using watercolor paper, you can't really go back and do too much or you're going to wreck your paper. I can see it balling up a little bit there. To change color, you just go like that. And then I'm going to quickly just do the little hearts. I'm going to add enamel dots, enamel heart shapes to a couple of them, but I'll just go ahead and do that. And I like watercoloring because it's a very subtle look and it's very therapeutic. There we go. And then you just take your block and run it underwater and you're good to go. So put the lid back on this. So that's ready. So cute. And so now we're just going to layer up our card. So Granny Apple Green, 8.5, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've embossed this with the Leaves embossing folder, which is now available again in the catalog. So I'm going to use Tombow, just because it is raised quite a bit. So I find the Tombow, oops, that's a little bit much, helps when it's one of the thicker embossing folders. I'm going to put that down at the bottom. Hopefully that doesn't all squeeze out. I'm sure it'll be fine. And the one thing about using liquid glue, it's a little bit more forgiving and you can move it a little bit after you've placed it down. So I think that looks good. Then we're going to layer up. This is from the square framelits. So there's ones with scalloped edges and there's ones that are just straight edges. So you just have to find the ones that are going to nest nicely depending on how much you like to have showing around the edges. So I'm going to glue this one. I'm going to grab my snail and just glue this one on. And I love the gingham because it's easy to make sure it's straight. Just need to line it up with the lines. That's still a little bit wet, so we're going to layer that up and then put dimensionals. In the meantime, these are the enamel shapes. And in order to color them, you just take your blends, Stampin' Blends. I'm using dark, lovely lipstick. You can see here I did purple ones, I did Bermuda Bay. Some of them are too light. You really have to try and see which ones work well. I'm just going to show you how to do it. I did a couple already because I wanted them to dry. They do take a few minutes to dry. So you just take the big brush end and go over it a couple of times. And they have 3 different shape or sizes of hearts. These are the large ones, medium, and then the little ones. So we're going to use some of the little ones. If I can find my little pokey tool. And they fit perfectly into these little hearts. And I'm just going to add a couple. Sometimes less is more. Yeah, I guess you could put one in every single heart, but I think that would be a little bit too much. There. So cute. And then we're going to add this to the card. This little layered piece. And then add some dimensionals to the back. Just pop it up a little bit. And if you're interested in purchasing any of the products to make this card, you can visit my website, mariannecowan.com, and use the hostess code. There we go. So cute. So here we have 5 and now 1 extra because I made an extra one of the little clouds. Welcome baby, happy birthday, you made my day, and Hoot Hoot Hooray. So I think this stamp set is a great one to have in your stash because you can make quick and easy cards and they look really, really beautiful. So thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned for other videos on my channel.